Well, just as I said on the hangout last night, we're over John's. And he's working on this. You better take your pilot out of there so you don't get any blue dust on him. Da 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 da. He's put the what do they call that stuff over the open base? Mica film over the open areas of the back there, and that's to keep from knuckleheads putting their fingers through it. And it seems to be pretty tough stuff. So we'll see how it goes. But it's coming along nicely. It's starting to get its girth, but what what can you expect?
42 ounces. I'd like to say.
And today I will be working on my Tucker canopy. As some saw last night, I sanded it, and I'll explain that all out, how that worked. What the heck's going on here? Okay. Now, I like my canopies to be part of the airplane, where they don't look like they're just set on there. So, if you watched me last night on the hangout, well, let's go from the beginning. First, this area was finished out. Then John helped me hold the canopy on there straight. I traced a line on it and cut out about a 32nd of an inch wide groove. Painted the inside of that groove red so that you couldn't see the balsa wood. Dripped epoxy down into that groove. Then held this in place until it dried. Well, that left a crater between the wall of the canopy and the side of the fuselage. So in the apartment, I took superfill and filled in that canopy, and then painted it red with the brush to try. But the canopy is creeping. It's creeping up this way. I would like to get it back down, so I might have to take the tape off and sand all the paint off of it. You know what I mean? The paint is creeping up because to get it even.
Yeah.
So the trick for today is I'm going to take some aqua green and kind of smooth it in there. That's a new word, by the way, smooth. And then feather sand that all in. And today, hopefully, we'll get it airbrushed. I got to be careful. I can't sand anymore. I'm starting to see wood there.
Yeah, I see that. And that's just tissue back in there. So you're already through your tissue. You mean your frame lines creeping up on the canopy?
Yeah, ain't much you can do about it. We've already got 3 watchers. Hit that like button, hit the thumbs up button. Help the channel grow. to do a super job on this stuff, it's not really difficult. It's just, you have to think things through, take your time, make a mistake, do it again. Don't settle for less, settle for perfection. And you'll never get it, but well, that's about as far as I can go there. I need to take that brush and paint that again, and then put the green on it.
Mm-hmm. You gonna take that brush with you?
Yeah, I got it. What grit timetable are you using?
80.
I don't know if I'd use that much.
Yeah, I wanted to get the high shit down off of it. That's why I got the tape on there, so I leave everything at least the tape thickness high. Now I'll get it at 120 and get the rest of that off there. It's pretty much got the bulk of it off. I'll take it down with the longer sanding block and 120 grit because I want to taper it from here to here, not just in this little area. So basically this can come off right now because I'm down where I need to be at. I use a lot of tape. And I use a lot of tape. I still got a silk spinner and everything, so.
For you guys watching who are worried about this FAA stuff, because I watched the AMA, whatever they call it, their AMA Air thing where they were talking to the FAA guy. Go on the AMA site, get the link to submit your comments to the FAA. And submit your comments telling them we fly control line. We need an exemption for control line. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm sick of this nonsense.
Yeah, it's very important that we everybody, you know, goes on there. They're grouping everything into one thing. Everything's a drone. Don't matter whether it's a rubber-powered airplane or a helicopter or a combat plane or everything's a drone in their eyes. There's no difference.
Kid flying a kite. You won't be able to fly a kite if we don't get on this.
One of our club members flies free flight rubber-powered airplanes. And he's right outside of the 5-mile borderline to an airport. And he's had them complain to him. Now these are little 24-inch wingspan rubber-powered airplanes. And they're complaining. He's within, but he's, luckily for him, he was right outside of the 5-mile limit, so they couldn't do anything to him. Otherwise, they would probably had a fine. And this is already happening. This happened last year.
So submit your complaint, concern, be polite, but be forceful. I'm thinking about writing a letter to the President of the United States. You got no idea how many jobs will be lost if we lose this hobby.
These are your rights. These are your, they're impeding upon your rights as a human being in the United States for right of, you know, freedom. It's, you know, the pursuit of happiness.
And what's really sad is if some of you guys remember, they had an FCC rule back in the 70s about CB radios where we had to be licensed, and that lasted about 2 years, I think. And this delivery service, pizza delivery, it's not going to work. It's not ever coming to fruition. So if we let them do this. We lost it, and it was for nothing.
Yeah, once you lose it, you don't ever get it back. You've lost it forever.
I mean, it's pretty scary what they're. I watched that AMA show. Ridiculous.
Yeah, and that jokers that they got on there, that guy and that girl that I think they are FAA employees rather than AMA employees, because they're all, well, we need to incorporate all this stuff. Well, I think we need to ban all of it. And I think there's an easy way to get around all this stuff.
Well, if you look at my channel for my video to the FAA, I did it about 2 years ago. What are we gonna do? Stand in the back of a pickup truck, have somebody drive us around, going around in the circle? I don't think so. This is totally ridiculous for us. I mean, but you don't want to think about just us, because the balsa wood industry will go away, the model airplane industry will go away, thousands of jobs will just be lost. I mean, it's just unbelievable. All the hobby shops, you know, why have a hobby shop? And everything's a drone. Well, we don't fly drones.
And everything's got to be store-bought.
Yeah, and you won't be able to build these airplanes. You have to buy them, and they have to have a transponder in them. So end of model airplanes will end if this goes through. So make sure you write your congressman, write a letter to the president, write whoever. I mean, I don't know how much it'll do, because every time they want to levy a tax, whether everybody votes no on it, it goes through anyway.
I suggest also don't do the form letter, because as soon as they see that, that's the round file. That's deleted, file 13, whatever you want to call it. Make up something individually written by you would be more well received, I think, than some form letter that some lawyer somewhere wrote up and they see 10,000 of those come across, and they'll just start deleting them and throw them away, rather than maybe it'll raise our chances of not actually reading each and every one. And I still doubt that they'll do that, but nevertheless, it's part of it, you know. I think that if they got rid of if they got rid of GPS and they got rid of the goggle thing, the FPV, or that would be enough to pretty quench anything.
Right, line of sight only.
Line of sight only. If you can't see it, you can't fly it. As far as if they're concerned about safety, show me the records where it shows that we've been unsafe. Show me your proof that there's a problem, you know, which they don't have that.
Because there is no problem.
There is no problem, that's right. It's all big business, Amazon, Pizza Hut, you name it, trying to get every inch of airspace that there is out there. And telephone companies and all them, they want your radio signals. All them delivery places, they want the airspace. It's all about that crap, you know, at the expense of a pursuit of happiness, you know, free speech. You know, it'll end things as we know it as a hobby. It will no longer exist, and we're not far from it. We've got till March to give them our feedback, and whether or not they'll even use that at all is another thing. But we got to put forth the effort, you know, to get it in there without, you know, it's a last chance deal.
I think maybe a White House petition. We only need 100,000 signatures.
That may take that, but that's going to take everybody and their brother out there doing it. We can't let down on this. We got to go full tilt boogie on it. I see no other way. Before we got to thinking, well, we're just powered kites, blah blah blah. That doesn't hold true now. They're attacking everything, and we even had an FAA guy, a guy that works for the FAA, at our last club meeting, and he's also a representative at the AMA. And I'm not going to mention any names or anything, but he was at our club meeting, and he so much as said, "It's scary, boys." And he flies RC, and he's going to start back at control line, but that doesn't mean that control lines out of the woods. And according to him, it's a blanket coverage. Everything's a drone. Doesn't matter, helicopter, airplane, whatever, they consider them all drones. Can't emphasize that enough. Pretty scary stuff. But if we want to keep playing with our planes and doing our things, we gotta be proactive and, you know, this stuff of saying, well, I'll just be rogue and I'm gonna go out there and just fly no matter what. Well, yeah, you've got the right, you can do that, but you may end up with a $30,000 fine, because there are fines up to $30,000 for breaking the rules. Not to mention the confiscation of all your stuff, and may even be a knock at your door. This is just a drop in the bucket of what they're wanting. Now, they're wanting to have you register every single airplane that you own. And every single airplane has to have its own N number, just like a real airplane.
And it has to have a transponder.
It has to have a transponder. And you also have to pay for a service for each individual airplane. It's an app on your phone. It goes to some big company that they're going to hire that's going to monitor all these different numbers and frequencies and all this stuff. And it's going to cost you $2, $3 a month, $5 a month per airplane. So, I mean, it's just the tip of the iceberg. We've got to really get in there and dig and do something about this, because it's just so nasty. It's pathetic. Now I'm gonna get back to sanding. I'm done ranting.
What I'm doing here, guys, is I'm blocking the, I'm going to put aqua green on this now to sand this in. To take out any of the flaws and imperfections. I'm blocking so you can't see the aqua green from the inside of the canopy. And once your flying sight is gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
There will be no new flying sites.
As it stands, control line's only allowed to fly at like an AMA site, something that's approved by the AMA as an official AMA flying site, which means Muncie, or maybe if you're fortunate enough to have a city park that's still, if they include that, still be able to fly there. But he's right. They once you lose it, there's no new places that's going to be allowed to be brought up. Pretty scary.
The FAA is not well thought. This is basically like what Fox did to us. The control line guys put Fox on the map. Then Fox forgot about control line and went to RC. Well, now, because they didn't stay with the times, Fox was out of business. Well, the RC guys made these quadcopters. Well, now they're going to bump out the RC. There will be no new innovation.
No airplanes, no helicopters. It's all about delivering your pizza or your Amazon goods to your house. If that's what
And it
it's
ain't
all
going to
about.
work, because the minute one of them show up at my house, I'm going to drop a sheet over it.
And by the way, contrary to popular belief, you don't own the airspace above your property. The FAA government owns it from the ground up, no matter where the air is at. So this fallacy of you owning the air above your property, you don't.
I guess there could be an indoor flying site.
Well, wouldn't that be something?
Where's the lacquer thing? Where'd you get this high quality lacquer thinner?
That's some of that good Home Depot stuff.
If you like what we're doing here on Saturday, give us a thumbs up. Super chat if you're so inclined to help keep the channel open. Because their Google has really put the hurt on ads. $2 yesterday off Stunt hanger. I'm about ready to shut that off. Ain't no sense in keeping it on either.
Yeah, most people don't like seeing the ads anyway.
Yeah, great. Who wants to pay for it? Who wants to pay for the site? You know, I'll turn.
Well, I understand where you're coming from. You know, but it's like TV. You know, if I'm going to pay for the site, I don't want to see no ads. And look what they've done to TV.
Yeah,
You know, you get a point of cable TV was TV without commercials. Now, what do you got? It's worse than regular TV was before. And you're paying for it.
See, I can't compete with Facebook.
Yeah, that's because all the big businesses and everything are using it big time. They're so international or whatever.
If this FAA thing goes through, that'll be the end of Stunt hanger. There'll be no need to keep it open. Well, this red paint just will not come out completely out of this white brush.
Yeah, you got a little container or something you can put some thinner in.
The cap.
It's gonna contaminate that whole gallon with pink paint.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
There's a jar.
I don't need it. Still won't come out. It's clean, it's just like it's stained, you know what I mean?
Yeah. There's that spot. Finally worked down to just that spot.
Quit sanding this way, sand
Well, I have been sanding the radius. Yeah. Not trying to shape no balsa wood, I'm just trying to shape the filler down.
Pretty good. Finish it out with 320. It'll be fine.
Yep. I took all my 320 upstairs. So.
I got a little bit.
Here's some right here.
On lunch break, Jack. they can have my control line when they practice my dead from my alive and giving sign language hand. Yeah.
Yeah, we hear.
What's funny, they were talking about 51% being built, you know, on this thing. Well, shit, these are all built by us.
Yeah.
It ain't 51%. It's everything except the motor.
Yeah, 51% rule. I can say that I build them everything but the motor.
Yeah.
I've made wheels, I've made bell cranks, I haven't made the wire. So your wire and your motor, but I've made everything else, and I've assembled everything. I guess I haven't manufactured paint yet.
We probably could do it if we had to.
Yeah. Let's go get some old film and some lacquer thinner and methyl ethyl ketone. We'll make our own paint.
Okay, so the blocker coat's on it. We're gonna take the acro green and smooth a line of acro on there. Better wait a minute. Yeah, it's still kind of tacky. Let it dry, sand it out. Then I'm gonna paint it. I have to paint it white there. And then airbrush the red to blend it in and finish the black stripe. It will look like it belongs when I'm done.
And Bob looks in there. I gotta paint a white beard on him. I can't paint leave him in there with a black beard. Old black bearded pirate. He'll look pretty good.
Gotta have the pipe.
Yeah.
Toothpick and a piece of balsa wood.
I'm gonna get some gray paint. I'm gonna gray up his beard.
My airplane is piloted by Tommy Looper. Tommy, you best not crash. And John's is piloted by Bob Giske.
Let's see here. What can we use? I want some gray. Light ghost gray. That's probably as
Just
close
dry
to
brush it.
anything that I'm gonna.
You know what I mean? That'll give it some depth.
I don't want to cover up all the. See, that's got white and black and brown, and in that beard already, and everything's flat colors.
I use that stuff that Creasy paints his airplanes with.
Well, some of that is that I stole from Barb the Red because I don't have any flat red, so that's arts and crafts. Do your Christmas decoration type stuff. 59 cents a bottle.
I painted my airplane for $1.38. It's $1.38 in the house.
But this might look just like his straps, his harness. The same color. I'm gonna have to paint those a different color.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Dry brush. You're just going to put some gray into it. You're not going to paint it gray.
Yeah, I know it's really hard to dry brush that small.
Should go on like that. think he had gray hair too. Matter of fact, I know he had gray hair, but he had no beard when we put him in the ground. They shaved his beard off.
No, he was all white.
Put some lipstick on him.
No, it already sticks out too much, I think.
We'll run this show until lunchtime, which is about 3 hours that we do, and then depending on things, whether we come back or not. But my goal for today is to get this canopy and the black stripe in, and get the propeller painted, and a gold radiator underneath here, like the real one. And then I can work on decals. Where that Santa Pua thing was that goes right here. You see, the real one doesn't have it, but I've seen some of the airplanes with Santa Pua on there. I'm going to put the Buzz and Buzzards circle on there.
Look a little better.
Yeah.
It's really hard doing these little things. I don't do a half bad job of. For a regular Williams brother pilot, you'd never think that was.
No.
You know, his head's moved. I put his goggles on, which I made sunglasses for one guy one time that really looked like sunglasses. They did a pretty good job on it. That was tough to do. I don't like working that small. I mean, this is just balsa, couple little balsa wood. I took a hole saw and drilled a hole in like 1/8" balsa, and then sanded them to shape, well, 3/16. And then a piece of cardboard painted red, like a match pack, piece of match pack. It's got to have some thickness to it. Just paper is too thin. And I did the same thing for his strap for his goggles. That's a piece of like match pack. Runs around, just glues on the side, and then I glued the goggles.
How long did that take? 2 days?
A day. It took a whole day.
Yeah.
All day. I painted it, that's gluing him together and painting him to where you saw it to begin with. I just did another couple minutes of making his beard gray there. That's as far as it's going to go. Pipe, maybe. Gotta have Geesky with a pipe.
Gotta have a pipe.
Legendary pipe.
Painted yellow, corn cob. Okay, Jack, we'll see you later. Have the guys on Stunt Hanger talk about drone rules and get them too to write someone later. Yeah, we'll see what we can do.
YouTube has a lot of videos from a lot of different people, mostly RC guys, but still, all the stuff pertains to us too. It doesn't just pertain to RC like you may think. Pretty scary, boys. Pretty scary. Within 4 years, we could be all over with. Said and done.
That'll be the end of AMA. Of course, we don't need them anyway. They don't do anything for us.
In fact, when they adopted drones in their policy, that was our demise right there. That was everybody's demise. Alright, here's how I made them. This old Durbro package that I just painted some color on it. Cut little strips. And I'll just save them in with my paints if I need it down the line somewhere.
Get the do, bro. Okay, where's that aqua green?
Right there.
Okay, this is the dangerous part right here. This is what we use for spot putty. It's Aqua Green 05096 3M Aqua Green glazing putty. This tube weighs a pound. It's very, and I'm not exaggerating, it weighs 16 ounces. Do not use much of it because your airplane will be a sled. It's for very small imperfections. You start bonding your airplane with this, you might as well just hang it up.
Yeah, it'll be a lead sled. Damn, I can't find that.
So, in order to get that to flow super nice, we're going to take a little bit of the green putty on my finger and fill that in there. Well, this is fresh stuff.
Yeah, pushed out a whole bunch of liquid out of it when I opened it up this morning and used it.
Now the majority of this filling was done with superfill. This, what I'm doing here, is just filling in the lows. I think this is one of the hardest jobs to do on a model airplane, is to make the canopy look like part of the model.
Oh yeah, I probably spent 10 years trying to perfect that, and I still don't have it down to, it's like a new learning experience every time you do it.
Well, I have my way. It works. I can already see this gonna mold in nice.
I basically do the same thing that you're doing. The biggest part is in the sanding.
Yeah.
You can't sand anything but the filler. You can't sand the wood, you can't leave a divot, just like on your fillets. It's so easy to create a divot outside of the fillets.
Take a look at that and see what you think.
Taping them off helps, but it isn't everything. Yeah, you got it nice and smooth. Looks pretty good. Got a couple little high spots, but they're gonna get sanded out of there because they're just there.
Show me the lows. That's what I want, so I can
I
fill
don't
them
see
out.
any real lows. Looks pretty good because it's got to sort of
It's got to go.
come in and then up, so you got to have a rounded. Looks pretty good.
We gotta do it out there.
Same thing we always do. I gotta get the tissue on this now on the fuselage, on the main fuselage sections.
When John does his tissue, we'll take the camera upstairs, because I'll be sanding and airbrushing on this as well. Should have this canopy painted before lunch, if all goes well. It's all a matter of drying now. And I don't see any superfill on the inside. I mean, there's nothing I can do about it now.
Right now, if there's a bad spot, you're gonna redo from scratch, or it's gonna stay there. I still have a little hope on this because I'm right up to the point I get that tissue on. Then once the tissue's on, you're pretty much set. minor little blemishes.
I learned something from you on this bill that I'm gonna do on my bill. I've never done this before. Was a good idea. To build it all in one piece, cut the center section out.
Your flaps would be good too if you could find wood long enough to do them all in one piece. Or just take two pieces and glue them together and then shape everything and then just cut out what parts you don't want. And that way everything's exactly the size you need it, wherever you need it at.
Yeah.
It matches perfect. Put your little 64th inch plywood pieces on the edges.
Yep, you taught me something. I never thought of it.
Done deal. Now Bill Reynolds, he does his where he runs this piece all the way through the fuselage. And there's good and bad about that. I mean, it's a little heavier, and you got to cut out some of it to allow for your control horn. But it locks that in. You know, your center line, your straight line out. If you just glue these pieces on the outside, you take a risk of getting them out of line and all that stuff, and one's up and one's down. You put it all in one piece, they're there. They're equal on both sides, and they're right on the center line of the airplane, which, when I build all my airplanes, I put a center line on them, and I always leave it out here where I can see it.
I do too.
And that gives me a constant reference point through the whole build. That I can always go back to, and I do it in something permanent. This is a fine tip magic marker, but Sparky likes pencils or ink pens, you know, whatever your mode of choice is. Punch a little hole that you won't ever fill in or something. It doesn't make any difference what it is, just as long as you have a reference always. And always make them a little long so they stick out past your finished work, and it'll get painted in the long run.
You built this rather fast. What have you been working on? Almost 2 months?
4.5, 4 or 5 weeks. 5 weeks.
Boy, it takes so long to build an airplane.
5 weeks, and I really haven't. I mean, on the weekends, a lot of times I don't get much done on my stuff. I help you doing your stuff, and I'm making little odds and ends, parts and pieces and stuff. And it's, I don't come down in the basement and work every day of the week. You know,
Hey, the only thing I wish you'd have done on this is
family life.
them round things here. Always do that.
Yeah, well, they weren't on the plans. So, yeah, I normally make those round too. I've even added them after the end and made them out of thicker wood, and then just sanded them down flush, and they come out pretty good where you don't see them as an added piece. But I don't think the plane's big enough to really have a stress riser there or whatever. But it does make it prettier when you hold it up to the light and you can see through it. But I built this right off the plans outside of, a different design of wing. It's still the same airfoil. It's still the same dimensions as the Geeski Nobler. I made a solid wingtips on instead of build up. Geodetic, there's Warren truss ribs, foam leading edge. Same thing with the stab and elevator, they're all built up. My flaps are solid.
There's another misnomer too. You cannot build a flap lighter than a solid piece of wood if you can find a good piece of wood.
You can't do it.
If you're stuck building a flap up, great, because you can't find wood, but a solid piece of wood is lighter than a built up flap. That's just the way it is.
You can even take a good piece of wood that's solid and cut out the center and put ribs in it, and it'll end up heavier than the original piece of wood.
That's right.
You can't skip that glue weight and everything else, even though you think you're hollowing out. I know there's a guy quite a while ago, 10 or 15 years ago, that he got into foam and carbon fiber and all this kind of stuff, and he was making these they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 pieces in just the trailing edge piece. 'Cause there's 4 sides to it, so that's 4 pieces. And then it had carbon fiber toe, top and bottom, and it had carbon fiber veil, front and back. It was all epoxied together with a foam core.
3 ounces?
And, well, he was building some pretty light stuff, but I don't know how he did it with all those materials into that's just one piece back there. I have a hard time just finding the piece I feel strong enough to do it, but he's using like Rochelle foam for the core and having to cut that the size that he wanted it, and then he sheeted on all 4 sides with grain run in different directions, and between the foam and the sheeting was the veil and the carbon fiber toe or cloth, and all that epoxy and everything. I just don't see how he was building them, but he was claiming 2.5 ounce 30-inch stabs.
Bullshit.
I'd have to see it. I'm sorry, not that I don't trust you or anything, but I want to see it, and I want to watch the process, to see how you can get it so light. You got to use X amount of cloth, you got to use X amount of epoxy to fill the weave, and under pressure and whatever, I see under a lot of pressure, you can use a lot less epoxy. There's a 1-to-1 ratio or something you're supposed to have, whatever pound weight cloth you got opposed to your epoxy weight. It's supposed to be the same. I think that's the formula. I could be wrong. But try to do that sometime. Try to weigh up a 1/2 ounce of epoxy and get a 1/2 ounce piece of cloth and use just that 1/2 ounce epoxy and saturate that whole piece of cloth that weighs a 1/2 ounce. You'll find it really tough to get it to be able to use that little epoxy in that. Or carbon fiber cloth or whatever you want to use. I've even I took carbon fiber veil and I laid it on a piece of glass, and I had some saran wrap on the glass, and I put the veil on there, and then I spread epoxy all over the carbon fiber veil, and then I put another piece of saran wrap, and then I took a piece of tubing and I rolled that stuff from one end to the other, and it saturated out real well, and it rolled out all the excess stuff. But I bet you I still had at least twice the amount of epoxy in that stuff is what you're supposed to have. And I don't know how to get it out anymore. I was actually taking that veil and breaking it because I was rolling so hard on it. And so that didn't work.
This ain't gonna work. Do you have any of those round polywogs?
I've got all sorts of pieces of aluminum tubing, different sizes and stuff.
I left my round polywogs sitting on the table.
I don't have what you're talking about, but here's all sorts of little
Delicate.
They don't have handles on them. That's the problem. I meant to make some of these things up.
Yeah, I need this might start.
I guess you could. I only got 2 sizes.
Yeah, we have a small. Oh.
And this will give you a little bit of a handle on there.
Yeah.
More than just a round tube.
This is delicate sanding here.
Let's see here. You wanted me to put a pipe in there.
Yeah.
You gotta have a pipe.
You gotta have a pipe.
It's one more thing. About a year from now, to be floating around inside of my cockpit, looking for a place to land.
Well, make sure you use epoxy.
Yeah, you gotta use something that's vibration proof. I'd like to have a little piece of wire.
Yeah, wired wood. I think wood would be better though. Wood to wood is better than wood to metal.
Well, it'll be wood to plastic because it'll have the insulation still on it. You know what I mean? There, I could use a piece of solder.
Yeah. Piece of lead. You can see how hard it would be to teach sanding on the internet, because you can't really see what I'm doing.
That's just one of them so-called acquired things.
And not many guys would take this extra step. They, you know, glue it on, fly it, clear it, it'll be fine.
There's a little spray tube out of
It might take an hour to sand this out.
that's too big.
I haven't seen the manager posting on Stunt Hanger.
Facebook ready.
Yeah, he's a farce book. I don't know how you can find anything on farce book that isn't 049 related.
There's some stuff on there. Like you said, it's not easy to find. Piece of wire. Let's see. I'm gonna get some side cutters and I'm gonna go find me a piece of wire somewhere.
Facebook's going to be the end of Stunt Hanger.
The FAA will drive it down.
Yeah, we're the FAA won. Then there'll be a bunch of old guys talking about what we used to do. Well, I better be damn careful getting all this stuff off before I clear it. All this goofy dust. Break out the Denwex. Okay, back to sanding. We got any chatters?
Remember them good
Nope.
old days back in 2020? We used to be able to fly model airplanes.
I thought Trump was trying to get rid of regulations, not gain more. I think we need to go back to section, what is it, 322 or whatever?
Yeah, nothing.
That was not supposed to be infringed upon.
How many times has the government kept its promise?
Never. We're from the government. We're here to help. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Get out then. If you're gonna try to help, I don't want you around.
I'm wondering if this should have some primer on it.
Well, you gotta get that down before you can put the primer on it.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to tape off this whole thing anyway because I'm gonna paint that gold on there, the gold radiator on the underside, and I don't want them splitzes anywhere.
The dreaded splitzes. They do happen.
This ain't quite ready to sand it.
We've done it the same way like that. How many hundreds of times?
Yeah.
And still, it's that one time. This morning, I couldn't do anything right this morning, it seemed like. Went out there, covered the flap. Got halfway down the flap, tore the paper in half. I like my paper to be all one continuous piece, so that meant stripping the half off that I had on and cutting a new piece. Starting all over again. Then I spilt my bottle of clear dope that I had, dumped 3/4 of it out, rinsed my damn towel I had on the surface. Come on, man.
I think while I'm letting that dry, I'm gonna wrap my eyelets. I know you have some eyelets in here and some wire somewhere. Got any eyelets? There's the wire.
Might be a piece or two floating around in there somewhere.
I'm talking about flying line eyelets. Got any?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
They in this drawer?
God, they would be in that drawer if they didn't. We'll have to drill it. Hasn't got any in here now. Let's see anything in here. Have to get out to the car. I haven't brought in my line box yet. I don't have any anywhere else in here.
There's none in that drawer.
I'll have to get out to the car because all my lines and bulk line and all that stuff's still in the car.
Kind of 32 is this?
GMS 32.
When did you get this?
I got that at the club meeting. I asked Ed about if he had one down there at the hobby shop the other day. And he said, I might have one. And so he brought it to the club meeting. And $25 later, I was the proud owner of one.
Ring.
No, it's ABC. It's just got a line, an oil line.
Is it the same bolt pattern as this?
Yes, it is. It's almost like a clone.
Never heard of GMS.
It's a no-with copy. And I'm gonna try it.
Yeah.
I'll make a Venturi for it.
Can I steal one of these?
You're trying to steal my nipples.
You ain't gonna use it.
Well, I might. If I want upper pressure, I'll be
You got
doing
two of them. You
I'll
got
be
three
doing
of
the
them.
same thing you're doing.
You got 3 of them.
Let's see what that one is. These are sort of big, aren't they?
It don't matter.
They're all the same. Take that one out of the muffler.
Thing is, we couldn't find one at the hobby shop.
I was waiting for that to come. He's rooting around through my boxes. I know what he's looking for.
Man, I gotta get that dust off of there. And we got 5 watchers.
You know exactly what that's going to be. That's going to be 5 washings with Windex before you guys shoot and clear.
Oh yeah.
And then you better clean the inside of that canopy as good as you did the outside.
No, the inside didn't get painted.
Yeah, I know, but it's going to have dust in there when you start shooting clear.
It'll be taped off the backside.
I hope so.
Yep, there's one. I see one. It's a big one, but it'll work. Need one more to match. Yep, there's another one. Man! I even brought my red
Did you bring your wire?
right here. Yours. We got a ratchet.
Just unroll it.
Sounds good. Need about 6 foot for both sides.
And if you can't do it in that much, it can't be done. I only use about 18 inches per side, per one. Here.
Okay. I need a felt tip so I can mark these wires. This will take off some weight. Use the red one here. Okay, we're gonna do a little line wiring or wrapping. I don't know how good you'd be able to see it, but we'll see how it works. Okay, normally what I do is I zero out the elevator where I think level should be. And take a felt tip pen, come out about 4 inches, 3 inches, and mark both wires. that's where the center of the hole will be. Now, I like marking my lead outs color coded. Red for down, black for up. If I could get green, I would use green, but they didn't have none. Heat shrink. And you want about 7/8 of an inch, I'd say. Piece, like so. One black, one red. Try to make it as professional as possible. So, I'm going to cut this wire in half. It's pretty long. So about 3 foot of wire per side. John says he can do it in 18 inches. I don't think so. Got to be at least 2 foot.
You know, I think the rules only call for 5/8 of an inch. I think. Don't quote me on that.
I always err on the safe side. So, we're going to do the down line, which is the reverse bell crank. It's on the back. Put the red terminal on there. The red piece of, what can I do with the, there they are. Take your eyelet. You want to put that red mark that you just made in the center of the bend. Bend it around there. This is the hard part, getting it started, because it wants to spring open. Hand me that. I'll go get them. I'll get some duckbills. We'll give it a little pinch. Some guys will say, you can't do that! Well, whatever. I bought 1,000 foot of this wire from Jack Sheets at the Nats. And this is some stout stuff for a lead out. Well, it didn't want to cooperate, so we're going to do it the other way. Okay, get it started anyway. There is no easy way. I guess I'll get it started here. Okay, so we got, I don't know, 10 turns on there maybe. Put the eyelet in, slide it up. I try to do this as neat as possible. That way when somebody looks at your airplane, it doesn't look like the knucklehead built it. Hold them square, wrap it tight. Try to wind these like you would when, I don't know how many guys are welding their own slot car armatures. But you want good tight windings. Ooh, get warm. I don't know, can you guys see what I'm doing here? Probably not. It's my back is kind of blocking the way. I don't know what the rules are, but I know that whatever the rules are for the length of this winding, I always overkill it. So 3/4 of an inch to 7/8 is what I do. We're at 3/4 now. If these things come off with that much winding on them, something's wrong. So then neatly fold this other wire back onto itself. Yeah. This is always a pain. Now your flying lines are done the exact same way. At least that's how I do mine. You can get away with crimps, but I don't like them. Now you say, well, why are we trying to make it neat? You're going to cover it up with heat shrink. Well, you can see right through the heat shrink. Cutters won't cut it. Got it. Okay. Now, Tom Morris, I want to talk about that. Tom Morris did have a heart attack, but Stunt Hanger Hoppy is still open and going for now. He's still filling orders. If you're gonna get something, better get it while it getting good. Same with Brodak. You can put epoxy on these as well, but I like the heat shrink just because it lets me know which wire is which, and I color code my flying lines too. So red to red, black to black, so on and so forth. Because I have lost an airplane hooking the lines up backwards. And we had one little misstep there. Anyway, you twist the two wires together. Leave about a 1/4 inch tail sticking out. You got a cigarette lighter up here? Or some kind of heat?
Torch.
Heat gun's huh?
Heat gun's upstairs in the garage.
Yeah, wait for the heat gun, I guess. Torch will put black marks on it. Even a cigarette lighter will put black marks on it.
Yep.
So we're gonna wait the heat to shrink until I get upstairs. But that's basically how it looks.
Matches and they'll do the same thing.
Yeah. So we got about an inch away from the. You paint it yellow?
No, paint it brown.
Brown. It's got a little dot on top.
No, you're not gonna be able to see it.
Yeah, I will.
Tinted canopy.
Yeah, I will.
You'll be able to see it. You want a black dot in the top of it,
Yeah.
or a gray dot or something. That's getting ate up, Sparky. I tell you.
Well, Tom Warden painted bloodshot eyes on his pilot.
Well, I've done that too, but unless you sit there and look right square into it, you don't see it.
Okay, let's do one more and then we're done there. Let's see if we got any chatters. And you've seen me do it, so. Paul, we quit using the green cream in the 90s. Nope, it don't shrink. Polyester glazing putties, yes I have. The aqua green is different than the red lead putty. They're all bad. They're all bad. Okay, I need to get that on there. you're on, John, so you can talk to him.
Well, I'm not doing much of anything over here to be able to talk about. Mixing half a drop of 5-minute epoxy.
Well, you're on, so show them whatever you're doing. They seen me wrap a line, so that's repetition. It's the same shit over and over again.
I can't make small enough amount of epoxy for this, considering it's a piece of wire that I'm gluing into William Brothers pilot figure.
Make it pretty close. You know, you don't want it sticking way out, so it's going up and down, vibrating with the motor.
Gotta make it look sort of somewhat realistic. Bob Geesky wouldn't be Bob Geesky without a pipe.
Yep. The first pipe nobler. Well, no, because he had a pipe nobler. The bear. I told you I have the original elevator stabilizer from his Nats winner, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all built up. Little carbon fiber pieces in it and all that. Little stick, I guess it's carbon. But it's still heavy. You can't. Should have been solid wood.
There we go. Bob Geesky with his pipe. And Sparky, I put the little black dot in the top of it for you. So it's ADAP, and you can see a little epoxy around there. I'll just take some flat paint and just touch that a little bit, but I'd rather have a little bit too much on there so it holds in there. I think it's set until it goes up. That's 5 minutes, then I'll set up pretty quick. Now, there we go. It's as good as her gets. I'm not doing anything more to it. Put some gauges in there on a piece of paper or something.
Damn!
Wish you will, Bob.
I lost the damn eyelid. Oh, there it is.
Uh-oh. Gride's gonna eat up something else.
Yeah, the rides are gonna eat something else.
Yeah, that problem all the time.
That's perfect. That is perfect. Yep, John's ate up. Let's go take a look at it. Let me take this off
Do we
here.
need it? Does it make it fly any better? Does it do this? No. It's just fun.
The Bob Geesky piped airplane. And we got 8 thumbs up. Hit that like button, drop us a super chat, leave a comment, tell us we don't know what we're talking about.
That's fine.
Huh?
Whatever works for us, works for us. Whatever works for you is fine. There's 1,000 ways to skin the same cat. I gotta put these things on the lathe and turn them, screw them up.
So the RC guys, the FAA guys are going to fly control line.
Well, there's some that are starting to move over, and it may be a big, gigantic influx. Who knows? But if they put us under an umbrella clause that, you know, a powered kite is the same as a commercial drone, and it is all about commercial drones. There's what ruining it for everybody. It's not even the hobby drones. It's the commercial drones.
Just get rid of FPV.
Get rid of that and the GPS out of them, and you can't do anything more but line of sight, and 90% of the battles would be over with. They can raise the altitude to 2,000 feet or whatever its minimum safe altitude for a private airplane. I think they got a 1,000 or 2,000 foot altitude bottom. Keep that the same, and just say we shouldn't be flying above that height. But 400 feet's a little bit ridiculous. You're talking a football field size area. You get an 049 RC airplane, you're gonna go outside 400 feet even with it, let alone anything bigger. Unless you're flying a indoor foamy thing. Even those guys are flying in basketball court size areas, so they're, I don't know, it doesn't look good for any of it. If we allow the commercial businesses to take over and govern everything, and big money is what it is. And I don't really care if you don't like talking politics, but this is something that really needs to be discussed and thoroughly and heavily, and you gotta do it. We gotta fight. If it comes to a 1,000,000-man march on the White House, so be it. We might be doing that anyway for Second Amendment.
They call in the National Guard to Virginia. I'm going to Virginia.
Well, hell yeah. It'd behoove everybody. The military, when you're in the military, and all these governors and everything, they sign a form that says that they'll uphold to the Constitution. Now, by writing these rules and regulations and laws and everything, that's not doing that. They're,
I think Governor Northam better think twice, because there's a bunch of guys that are going to show up on his doorstep.
The last president said it. I want to fundamentally change the United States as you know it, and they damn near did it. If it's not already going to be there. And we don't want to fundamentally change the United States as we know it. We want to keep it.
I want to go back to 1960s.
Well, yeah. All this prejudice stuff is nothing but propaganda on the TV and all that junk, and it gets everybody fired up, and they know what does it. And left to its own accord, there probably wouldn't be that much. And who doesn't have a prejudice about one thing or another? There's that. But whether or not you act on it and you go out there and you try to force your opinion on everybody else, that's where you got to draw the line. I don't care what anybody does, as long as you don't try to force your views and ideas upon me. Go do whatever you want to. But that's our freedoms. We lose that, and we're going to end up in another socialist country. We're going to be Venezuela all over again. Nothing on the grocery shelves, and no power, and everybody bumming and fighting and stealing, no health care. And it happens real fast. Once the government gets control of everything, our Constitution is all about keeping the government from getting enough power to be able to do this kind of thing.
What people don't understand is each state is autonomous. They are their own country. They can make their own rules as long as they live within the Constitution of the United States. And it's something else.
The Constitution was sort of written to protect us from the government.
Right. And the Second Amendment is not about hunting.
No, it has nothing to do with hunting. It has nothing to do with self-defense from a robber or anything like that. What it has to do is being able to take back your country from a government that's out of hand.
And buddy, they're going crazy.
They're getting there. They are getting there. And you don't need a concealed carry permit to carry, because in the United States, you can open carry anywhere you go. You used to do it all the time. You used to run around with shotguns hanging in their rear windows of our pickup trucks, and if you want to walk down the road with your 30-06 on your sling over your shoulder, you'd be allowed to. Your pistol hanging in a holster like the old Wild West, no problem with that. The problem arises when people get, oh my God, he's got a gun. Oh my God, let's panic. Well, it's probably 90% of the time not that guy you got to worry about.
I don't know how we got off from FAA to this, but let's.
Well, it's all part of it, you know. We're fighting for our rights. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Model airplanes.
There you go. Whatever your happiness is. Might be just drinking beer.
Yeah.
Still counts.
Yeah, I think if something goes on in some state, there's going to be, a lot of people show up. A lot of old military guys. Okay, got that done. Should be about 6 pounds lighter now. Cut the wire.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
And
do my,
6 foot of copper wire to it.
that's what it took. That's all that's left. Okay.
Oh no, you wrapped them too short.
Yeah. You'll never pull the controls that far. Not unless you're in a panic. Ah!
Been there. I have been there before. Not too often though.
Okay, that's done. Now I can put 4 ounces of tubing in it for the tank.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, I need to finish sanding this. Let's see here. This should be dry enough now. We're going to wrap up finishing molding this windscreen in. And I guess we're about ready to go upstairs. You need to go, don't you?
Yeah, I need to put silk span on this fuse line.
Get this sanded in.
As I get on my tissue on it, and I can start my fillets and detail sanding and primering areas, and cockpit detail, because I want to get that all done before I,
And some more sanding.
yeah, get that done, get the canopy on. I got to dye the canopy yet, which we were going to try to do last weekend, but might not even get done this weekend. Anybody's got any hints and suggestions on dyeing canopies, let us know. You need to add the salt to the water, or does that matter? Or the proper kind of rip dye to get. They don't make the big boxes like they used to anymore.
You know, I seem to remember something about salt.
And
Did it tell you to add salt?
yeah, it's in the directions, but somewhere I think I read that not to use it. Some places I heard to use it, and there's different kinds of this dye now. You got RIT dye more with the synthetic fiber dye, and then you got regular RIT dye. The only difference that I see in the two is regular RIT dye, it actually says on it not use on fabrics containing more than 35% polyester, acrylic, or acetate. Whereas the acetate is sort of the kind of materials that we make a lot of these canopies out of. And this synthetic dye, it says it's good for polyester, nylon, and acrylics, so it should, by all means, take maybe better on some of these plastics that we're using. So we'd like to know anybody's tips and hints, whatever you may have on that, boiling time, temperature. Soak time. Can you do it under heat, or do you stop the heat, let it sit and let it cool?
I think I'm gonna do a little more mover right there. Oh. It's not gonna be perfect.
Can't sand it out of it. Well, that's the most tedious part of that right there, getting all that blended in.
I might just tape off a square and primer that. What do you think? 'Cause you can't see.
So true. Well, see, when you get all that off there, then you're gonna have to pull that tape and sand that edge in. How are you gonna do that? You're just gonna let it go in there clear.
Let it go. Let her fill in. Goop her up.
Or do this when you got some patience. Don't do this when you're upset or anything. won't make for a good job.
Well, wipe it off. Let's see. And we got 9 watchers and 9 thumbs up.
I take it nobody's dying any canopies. Yeah, it's something not a lot of people do.
Something from the past. That's gonna be a problem right there. Better smooth in a little bit more green.
Fix it now or you're screwed forever.
Yeah. You can really tell this is a brand new, fresh tube. Got a lot of lacquer cleaner or whatever.
Yeah. I tried to mix it up, but I don't want to break the tube. Pushing it around a bunch.
Yeah, let that dry off and sand it out and then be ready to shoot the primer or whatever I'm gonna do. Need to figure out something to block that canopy off. Cockpit. Think about Mexican today.
It's Mexican.
Huh?
What kind of Mexican you want?
Bound for Mexico.
You want 3rd Street Mexican or
Yeah.
Taco Bell? To me, 3rd Street Mexican is much better.
Sure.
Although I don't know if that's actually Mexican. I
It's
thought
not.
that was sort of, I want to say Aztec, but that's not the proper thing either. Much, much better. It is an Americanized food.
Okay. Yeah, I think that'll, by the way it looks now, of course,
I hope you don't remember, because your paint line's got to come up past that green stuff, and you keep creeping up on the open area.
no,
How far down's your tape?
paint line's good. If I painted it right now, it'd be fine. Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Because
it should be as long as
Because I
you
painted
take
it red
off,
in it,
right?
remember?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna, it's taped off where it's supposed to be, and then if I end up having a goofy line or whatever, I'll take an ink line and go around it. And then the black stripe continues right up into the canopy.
Be fine.
That'd be fine. It'd look great from 20 feet away. Not building a scale plane.
It's all in the detail though. A little bit of time that you spend. See, that's a focal point. That's a big focal point of that airplane. Or any airplane, that's your canopy. Now it flares into the fuselage. And it doesn't matter whether it's a full canopy or a windscreen like that. It has to look like it's fit. Now, if you're building a scale airplane, some of them look like they're just sort of laid on top of there with caps all over them and everything else. if that's the look you're after, but it's not gonna garner you very many points when it comes to 180 building up there.
No,
Getting scored at the Nats has
this right here is the
been well recorded.
on this airplane.
You know, all these little, the intersections of everything, the nose, how the spinner fits, your fillets, how they're sanded out and blended in, all this turtle deck back here, these inside and outsides, and how smooth they are, it's gotta be flowing.
I've taken a lot of time on sanding that. It's,
Flat spots or facets in a rounded area, piling that is full.
like a sore thumb, but it really doesn't stick out till it clears on it.
I mean, almost every airplane's got them somewhere on them. You know, it's almost impossible not to get it unless, I guess, you got a CNC molded airplane, you might not. And then maybe you'll have more of them.
Dorn's got it all over his airplane. Flat.
Well, you know, they take a ball end mill or whatever, cut those dies out with that, and then it's up to the die finisher or die grinder to go in there and grind all that stuff smooth and take all that out. And that's a pretty hard job.
The only way that he could fix what I see on that airplane is to take what that one guy was talking about is polyester 2-part putty and get a wide putty blade and go from the top down to the bottom, top all the way, putty the whole thing, and then block sand it all straight.
That'd be nice if you could do that to the mold. The molds, whatever you got the molds, what you're gonna have on a mold airplane. You got a screw up in it. Same way with molding canopies. You know, it'll show up the wood grain.
I know.
If you don't fill it in right, it'll an X-Acto knife little nick mark. It'll show it right up. So I know them guys on some of them car dies and stuff like that. I've seen guys work for months on one die just trying to get out a little blemish. And then they have some guy go in there and they're stamping the big hood.
Your good scissors upstairs.
And
Well, I brought mine
they're
back.
sanding the big hood, and some guy put a fingerprint through a glove on that die. They stamped that hood and that fingerprint come out in the metal.
Yeah, that would be a bummer.
Oh my God, you know, and then they stamp 100 parts real quick, and yeah, you got a fingerprint in 100 parts. I get pretty upset over that stuff. I don't blame them. Let me know about your canopy dyeing stuff, guys. If you got any information, I got one canopy. Don't want to get another one. I do have a couple old ones that I can
We're also
experiment with.
We're also putting out an appeal for a PA-75. Anybody got one? We need one. Seems like the last one got sucked up. Just painting red, so
You gonna primer it first?
I think so. I think if I don't, I'll be, wish I did.
Probably.
So might as well do it up front and not worry about it. I still gotta paint white back there on that stripe, another coat.
When you do that, fix this little spot right there where you taped over the top.
Yeah. We need some more masking tape. How much was that a roll?
Can't remember. I bought a whole sleeve of it the last time. But you built 4 airplanes, 3 airplanes or something like that.
Well, I'll give you the money and go get some.
I can't remember how much it is. To be honest with you. Not cheap stuff. It's $7 or some dollars a roll, isn't it? Or $8 a roll. It's getting more and more expensive all the time. Of course, that's that good. We don't use that tape for everything. We use this cheap. I say cheap, relatively speaking. Walmart paint masking tape, which is still $4 or $5 a roll. The yellow tape's from a body shop. Big difference.
Well, I have no way to get it, so if I give you the money, you can get it during the day. What do you think, $50 enough?
Probably. I think I got. I used to save my receipts on that shit. I normally do it. They're only open through the weekdays too. So
Right.
it's-
Kind of like the hobby shop now, I can't get over there.
It'd be nice if they were at least open on a Saturday or something. All these guys, I'm sure some of these paint shops work on Saturdays. Let me see, I can't. I just realized I can't remember.
We don't need any more fine line.
That stuff's getting harder to find too. The green is almost impossible to find now, because I think they actually quit making that. And I think that you're really all you're left with is that blue stuff, and we find that it is really almost too tenacious.
You know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to look on Amazon for the tape. I think I can get a better deal on Amazon.
Yeah, maybe so.
And just have it delivered to the shop.
You have one of their drones delivered out there to the
Yeah.
shop.
Get the drone delivery going.
Nothing's more missed than DC 540, let me tell you that.
Yes, for sure.
Nothing's more missed. It's like the old diehard that built every airplane with an Android, and no more Android all of a sudden. It's like, oh my God. Can't chew that stuff off my fingers anymore.
If you're going to do a space that I'm doing, like I'm doing here, I'm going to show you a trick. Okay, I've masked this off so that I'm not going to get any, hopefully, any primer on this. You want to take your tape and fold it like this, back on itself, so that the sticky is out. And then build a dam like this and stick it down. What that'll do is it won't leave a hard tape line. Do you know that?
Yep, works. Works like a champ. And don't go shooting your paint straight back down in there.
Oh, yeah,
The
don't.
whole point is just to let that act like a dam and sort of keep it out.
Yeah, we're not gonna be shooting at that tape there, we're going to,
You're not using it as a paint mask, you're using it as just a block. So it sort of stops the overspray at that tape line, lets it self level out underneath of it.
feather in. Of course, nothing is 100%, but
No, but I'll tell you what, a hard line on there is much harder to sand out than that
you can rub out the line. You know, just get a towel and rub it off, and then the thinner will. You know, I'm spraying up here, but it's obviously it's
It's
gonna.
gonna get over that whole area, but it won't be on the hard line. He's gonna put that all the way around his masked area that he's gonna be painting on. It's already been taped off back in there, the hard line, but now this goes over that hard line.
That's hard to do.
Yeah, it is. It sticks to itself, you get in the corners and everything. It's a real pain in the ass. I'll be there eventually.
Okay.
Probably one of the fastest builds right here on this airplane that I've done in a long time. For a full size airplane, full fuselage airplane. It's coming out pretty nice.
I know this is gonna. I hate the thought of doing it with. I wonder if I could spray this into the airbrush.
Probably could.
Spray it into the lid and pour it into the airbrush where I got better control on it, because it's gonna go.
Probably could. I mean, you don't want to do that down here anyway.
No, but. I would rather have pinpoint control.
Well, shake the shit out of that stuff, and we'll take everything up there in the garage, and we'll do the painting and stuff out in the garage. Got time to smoke the bud anyway. You need a lighter and all that stuff, or hot air guns up there.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we're gonna walk up in the garage. I'm gonna take you up there. Gonna be a couple of trips, so I'll take you up first. Come back down to get the airplane. Oh yeah.
I like that weight without the motor in it.
Yeah.
Got that 32?
No.
Surprised he was sitting right there. What's this for? That's an experiment.
Maybe you have to come over here. Okay, I don't know how much we lost there. store, John. Are we still online? We only got 3 watchers. 120, been on 2 hours now.
Is there getting it?
Wow. Take about 10 sand out.
I don't doubt that.
What?
I don't doubt that.
We need to get them other lights going.
Get my big thingy out.
Your what? Hey, if we lose a signal, guys, just bear with us. I'll get the thing to reconnect.
Make some room. Hard to make room when you don't have any.
Need that tape. We still got, yeah, we're still online, I hope. I don't know what happened. We're out in the garage and the internet connection is not the greatest out here. So hopefully you will stick with us. If not, I guess what we could do is because the internet connection is so bad, we'll end this broadcast. It's been 2 hours, 8 minutes. We'll come back when we get down in the basement. So, we'll see you on the second part of the show. Till I see you again, fair winds, tight lines, keep building. See ya.